Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Kory. I've had so many great conversations back here in the 605 this week. I'm going to touch on as many of them as I can. There was a real estate function this week that was put on by one of the title companies. So of course the title company folks were there. There were lenders there. There were realtors, and it was just a good opportunity to catch up with a lot of different people that, you know, some of them who I'd never met, and some people that you get to talk a little more in-depthly with than you would in a normal setting. And so I've got to touch on a few of them. Jaden, I really enjoyed the connection that you made with me, and circling that back to your parents, that really brought a smile to my face. Hunter and Bella, I got a kick out of that because I've always prided myself in trying to be the most approachable guy in any room that I'm in, and you kind of helped me reestablish that a little bit. So I appreciate both of you guys for that. And Aaron, the conversation was so enjoyable, and I got the takeaway: don't chase, and let stuff come to you. And I'm hopeful I can live those words as well as you have, and it's paid off well for you over the years. So there were those conversations. I had some outstanding one-on-one coffee appointments with other realtors in the community and brokers and team leaders. And some would call those recruiting meetings, and I suppose at its core, they probably are. I'd love to have all those good people working with us at the experience and helping with our mission. But overall, it's always good to share ideas and just be connected with good people. And again, hopefully that leads to bigger and better and improved processes for the experience. But nonetheless, those conversations will remain private, more private than some of the other ones I'll touch on, but they were enjoyable nonetheless. A few team members I got to shout out. Dina, our transaction coordinator, had her 5-year anniversary. That gal's dedication to the experience is impressive and helps make us who we are. I had a brief conversation with Sherry on our team, and I can't thank you enough for your passion on what you do in the staging aspect. It's admirable, and that type of passion is what makes the experience what it is. So I appreciate you very much. Hands down, the best conversation this week was with my buddy Clark. I finally got to connect with him since he's been back from Mayo, and I'm feeling 1,000% now, and I like to make sure that I'm completely on top of my game whenever I go to see Clark. For obvious reasons. I mean, there's no need to be taking any sort of potential illness to his house. So it was wonderful to catch up with you, buddy. It was great that Tara was there, Clark's wife, Tara. And so we caught up, talked about all the things that friends talk about, and just had a great time. And I told you guys I was going to do this, so I'm going to. Tara takes a picture of Clark and I as we get ready to part ways that day. And I was out in my truck going through text messages before I drove away, and Tara sends the picture over, and I pull it up and I'm like, holy smokes, I'm a pipsqueak standing next to Clark. And I'm thinking to myself, here's Clark, he's been battling cancer for the better part of 2 years, and I'm diminutive standing next to that guy. It really made me feel like, yeah, maybe I should do more weights at the gym and less running. But and I gave Clark a hard time. I'm like, I think that morning it was, hey honey, let's invite over my friend that will make me look really fit and buff. Whatever it was, man, I got a smile out of it, and all joking aside, it was great to catch up with you. So there was that conversation. And I want to touch on a social media post that I made earlier in the week, because this run at the gym was a little different than a lot of them that I've had lately. So, but the backstory, to me, is one of the best parts of it. So I woke up even earlier that morning than I normally would. We're not going to talk about what time it was, but I thought I was going to be able to go back to sleep. I went through some emails, did some correspondence. Became apparent I was not going to be able to go back to sleep. And that morning, I needed to get to a listing that's about a 45-minute drive from town, and do some measurements and data collection. And I wanted to get to the gym, get out to that property, do all of that and get back before the sun came up. So I needed to start my day relatively early anyway, but I got a little bit more of a jump start on it than I intended. So for whatever reason that morning, I'm doing things that I don't normally do before I get ready to leave the house. I'm packing a bunch of snacks and thermos of coffee and got my snow boots. I don't know if I thought I was going on a mountain trek or what I was doing, but so I get all of that done, jump in the truck, drive to the gym, and I don't have my running shoes. I'm like, I got all the rest of the stuff, and I don't have my running shoes. And what's worse is I also don't have my key to get into the gym is in my running shoes. So I'm like, all right, well, I still want to do my day the way I do my day. I go back home, get my running shoes, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go to a different gym than I normally do, because my gym that I go to is generally it's not on the way to this listing that's on the outside of town. So I go to this other gym, and it was great. It felt really good. Sometimes it's fun to just go to a new environment like that. But here's the part that I want to catch you up on. All of that said, everything that had transpired to that morning up to that point, then I'm listening to my music and thinking about the things that I'd like to try to focus on during my run. And on the TV, at Sports Center, and they've got the closed captioning on this TV, which is the vital part of this story. And the gym that I typically go to when I'm looking at Sports Center, closed captioning is not on. So I see this clip of Matthew Stafford, the Rams quarterback, and his wife posted on social media this week him coming home after the NFC Championship game, which they lost, and he's tucking in his daughters. They were already in bed, of course, because it was I think it was 2 a.m., something like that. And a lot of you guys have maybe seen that this week. And it was very touching and just gives the human side of that particular football player. But here's the part that I took away from it. So I can't hear anything they're saying. I'm watching the closed captioning, and the sportscaster is talking about it, and says, when you have a bad day, your kids make it better. That's not the hook. The next thing he says is, when you have a good day, your kids make it better. And that was the part that made the light bulb come on for me, because I think there's so many of us in life, myself included, that the best things that we have in life, we appreciate them and call on them a lot of times only when we need the support and need to feel better. I think to me that little light bulb went on that said, hey, the best things in your life, they can make even your best days better. It's amazing how that works. And again, so it was a really good reminder for me, not one that I intended or thought that I would get at the gym that morning. And so I shared it a little bit on social media that morning, because it was one of those clarity moments for me that, again, I'm always trying to get as I'm going to the gym, and I'm getting that time where it's just me in my mind, and then it's my faith and my friends that I carry with me that can't be there. But that morning, that message really resonated with me, and it wouldn't have transpired had I not had everything else go on that morning. And I was just in that right spot at that right time, read that message, and I knew that I needed and wanted to relay it to all of you guys. So I hope you can take something away from that as well. As I always tell you, I appreciate you guys a lot for being here, and I hope to see you next week at Coffee with Kory.